Oh, hello and welcome to Two Girls in One Pod. I'm Crystal.
Melissa.
And I can't get my shit together.
Yes. Once again, we are three girls in a pod. So
We are.
say hello.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? What do you got?
We're back with special regular guest. I guess we'll call you now.
There you go.
Thistle is here with us again, and this is our episode 2 of Big Brother season 23 recap, discussion, prediction, unofficial Aftershow.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can call it.
Yeah.
So let's just dive right into this because I'm so excited that everybody, I know I say I'm so excited like fucking 50 times a day, but I am very excited with this season. I'm happy that we got to see a little bit more gameplay from everybody.
Yeah.
We got to see Frenchie unravel a little, which was fucking fun. I guess it starts off, everybody goes into the house after the HOH win. Do you have an opinion about when everybody got in? Like anything that you noticed, takeaways?
I kind of just laughed at Azza because she was just like, well, I had a plan of going after the first HOH winner, and I guess that's gone.
Yeah. She's like, now we have to be allies.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. The teams definitely throw a twist in it for them, right?
100%. Because then there's people that like you want to go after, like you say, and you can't, right?
That's right.
I did notice when they first got in the house, I'd made a note because Frenchie said to Tiffany that she was safe. He was like one of the first people that I could see that he was like, you're safe, don't worry, you're safe.
Yeah, like literally as they were walking in from the yard.
Yeah.
Like they got, and then you could see they were after to having a chat, and they have like a bit of a fun. Tina, I have to stop. Bring that mug back up for a second. Yes, bye. That's a sicko mug.
Right?
For anybody listening and not watching, Tina is drinking out of a beautiful mug that says yes bye, which is a Newfie phrase, and you can find it on Best Kind Apparel.
She's also wearing a shirt that says Own Your Nerves. Can also find that shirt there as well.
Yep. Bestkindapparel.com.
That's right.
After you're done listening and or watching to this podcast, go on that website and buy all of this stuff.
Thanks, girls.
Anyway, back to the show. So I noticed that they have they made like some kind of a final 2 deal. Like they're definitely aligned together. They felt comfortable after this week. I don't know if that will still stay.
I honestly think any deals that Frenchie made this week, I think are out the window after this.
He shot himself very quickly.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the worst idea. So originally at the beginning of the show, he was saying, I'm not going to put up any women. I'm going to target the quote unquote meatheads, which he really rubbed me the wrong way from the start. Because if somebody went in and judged him based on his appearance and everything, like he would be, oh, well, I'm more than this, I'm more than that. And he went around. I really liked it when he sat down with Brent, who is very quickly becoming one of my favorite people.
I've changed my opinion.
Yeah. When Frenchie sat down with Brett and started talking to him, he's like, I'm going to target this guy. And then all of a sudden, Brett is like the sweetest guy ever, just like super understanding. He's got a tremendous way with people. And then Frenchie turned around and then all of a sudden these meatheads that he was going to target one by one, he was like, oh, but they're not really a meathead. They're not really a meathead. And, I can't target them. But I'm like, that speaks a little bit to, I think he judged right off the hop.
Yeah, he judged right off the hop, but it's also kind of a testament to him being easily manipulated to some degree or swayed. So, he started off with his kind of foot on the ground about, no girls are going up, and it's going to be the jocks or the compies that are going to go up. And I mean, that quickly changed in that episode in terms of, his mind got convinced other ways based on conversations he was having. So, I think that erratic behavior and, too much too fast, I think is going to shoot him in the foot.
Like I was writing notes and I just kept thinking like, I'm just going to listen to whatever Tina says from here on. Cause you right away, you're like, he's going to be like pre-jury. And I was watching last night. I was like, he's going to be weak too.
Yeah. That was my immediate thought because like I was sitting down last night, or well, actually tonight I watched it. And I was just making I was like, he's making promises, which is great. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't make an alliance, of course, but it's just like, you gotta like keep some of the cookies for yourself, man. You can't hand out all the cookies.
Like, well, he also has to kind of, when you first go in the house, you have to kind of look at who's talking to who right off the hop. So I mean, if he's going around telling everybody the same thing and he's not watching who's going off having conversations with who, then those people are sharing information. So I mean, they're all learning what he's telling them. So you know, that's where kind of keeping your lips kind of tight helps in that situation right off the hop, because you know it allows you the time to see who's pairing off, see who's going off in groups, and understanding who you can and can't talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's playing too hard, too fast. And I think, honestly, it reminded me a little bit of Julie from your season, because I found that's what happened with her too. She played too hard, too fast, and it was just like right in there.
He was out week 1.
Right. He's only fortunate that he's HOH, so he's safe this week.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. I don't think it's going to get him much. He's going to have to do a lot of digging to get him out of the, get himself out of this hole right now, I think.
Big time damage control. As the episode played on, Xavier loves all the ladies.
I know. I thought he was making eyes at Whitney at first, and then I was just like, no, he's talking about Alyssa, and then I'm like, no, he's talking about everybody.
He literally was like, I like all of these girls. I was like, he's 100% a showman. Like 1,000% right. Like he's definitely gonna be in a showman, because he's just
either way though. I mean, he's using his sex appeal to his advantage, right? I mean, let's get all the ladies on board, and right. So good on him.
You got to use what you got.
100%. All right, so we're back again. So we're talking about Xavier and his showmance and using his sex appeal. Then my next note that I have here, so I just kind of take notes as the scenes were going.
Yeah, me too.
Do you have a note like around that subject, Crystal, about Xavier or anything?
Not specifically about him. I just thought it was really funny that he kind of like loved everybody. I did laugh at Derek F, who decided to like give himself the name of like Big D just because he wanted to differentiate himself from Derek X. I thought that was pretty funny.
I like that too. I'm telling you, I like him. I really think he's gonna go far. I do think.
Yeah.
I did change my opinion on Travis. I said I think Travis is going to be an early boot, and he's bragging about this tech startup.
Well, and that's what I was looking at too.
Yeah, and when we spoke the other day about our kind of initial thoughts, that was something he kind of should have kept to himself.
100%. Right. Well, like it took me back to your season, and I don't remember if this was on air, but I remember when Beth told us about it. She said it was her and Jed and Ty and Kiefer when they were deciding to send Jed home. And Beth told us that Jed had said to them, guys, I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the experience, and I'm here for the relationships. And
that's
after
the wrong thing to say.
Exactly. They were like, well, we're going to cut you now because we're here for the money.
Right.
So when I'm listening to Travis going around saying, oh yeah, well, I had like this big tech startup and then it turned into this company and that stuff. And I'm like, dude, you're going to be gone early. Cause he's also seems a little bit like cocky, not confidence. It's like overconfident. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think he might get cut soon.
Yeah. I thought that could get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was exactly what I thought, actually, because as soon as he started telling everybody about going to business school and his startup and stuff, I was like, Tina said you shouldn't do this. Why are you not listening?
Like, didn't you hear our show from last time?
Not paying attention.
Jeez, don't they air that stuff in the BB house?
Yeah, right?
Two girls, one pod with Tina.
No, because then everybody would like feel bad about themselves and be like, who the fuck are these girls talking about us? They're not on the show. We are.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't feel bad about Tina. They'd be like, yeah, she knows what's up. Yeah. They'd be like, I don't know who these other two are.
These other nobodies. Right? Well, okay. One question that I did have, Tina, maybe you should be able to answer. In the BBCAN house, if you're have-not, do you have to take cold showers?
In the Canada house, no, we didn't have cold showers.
because that I thought was
There was a point where we did have cold showers for a couple of days.
okay.
But
We're frozen.
I think we're frozen. Oh,
Yeah,
is she back? There we go.
Okay.
oh, there we go.
Yeah, you were frozen. You said that I think it stopped on. You had cold showers for a couple of days and then froze.
Yes, yeah. So we had it for a couple of days, but it was the whole house. So it wasn't, each week when we had to have knots, it was just slop.
Okay, so it was probably like more of a punishment or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I forgot about that with BBUS
Yeah.
that they had to take cold showers, and when he said
I don't know, man. That just adds a whole other level to it. Cold showers are not for me.
Stink for a week. I would just be really stinky. I don't know if I'd be able to do it. I'd probably like hop in, hop out, soap off, hop in, hop out, and just I can't. I hate cold showers. Derek and Frenchie. So was it Derek? I'm gonna have to start writing Big D. I think it was Big D and Frenchie.
Yeah,
Final
it
two
was.
alliance.
Yep.
Again, do we think that's still the case after this week?
No.
It could have if he hadn't fucked up.
Yeah. I think he went too much. So what was it he said about himself? He's a showman's killer. He refuses to nominate a woman. He hates meatheads. And I just said he's playing fast and hard, and he's going to end up being a huge target.
Yeah.
And then my next note is fucking Brent. I knew I'd end up liking him. He seemed like such a douchebag, and then he's talking to Frenchie, and I'm like, this guy is I think he's going to go really far, because the way that he was talking to Frenchie, he came down to his level. He was actively listening to him. He listened to what he was saying and then shared another experience to let Frenchie know that he felt the same way. Like, he built trust with him. I think that he is going to be like the house puppeteer now.
I told you. Yeah. I think he's in my final 3. I wrote it down. It's right here.
Yeah, no, he's using his finesse skills to kind of, smooth over the house. He's trying to think of things that he can relate to other people on personal levels. And I mean, he's going to keep using those attributes, and that's going to get him far.
Yeah, I think so too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did I misjudge him? Maybe. Do I still think he's a douche? 100%.
See,
I'm going to go 99% actually. I do empathize with him. I still think he's a douche.
I think his douchiness was video edit, because there's, like I said, there's always, like, every season I'm usually watching the intros and I usually think that they're all douchebags, and then when I watch the show I like them, right? So like this season was the reverse. I thought he was a douchebag and I liked everybody else, and now I'm like, I think that the douchiness in the beginning was like the Big Brother edit. I thought it was like the TV cut. He had to be kind of like this cocky ladies man, but I think that it's less of a douchebag feature and more of a like charm and humor side. I don't think he was actually that douchey. I think he's using that as like a comedy shield.
Maybe.
And he could be both. He just might, turn on what he needs at the given at any particular point in the game, right? Like,
and I think that's probably the case.
He needs to adapt to situations, and if tugging on the heartstrings of Frenchie at that particular point got him completely off his radar, then hey, that's what you do.
I think he's going to be a little bit of a chameleon throughout the game.
Yeah. I think he's one to look out for. He's becoming my favorite. Like,
hey, I picked Brent in my draft, so
yeah,
Brent.
That's right. He's gonna win, Tina. He's gonna win you the draft. You know
right?
That, right?
Bring it on.
Exactly.
I'm ditching him so fast. Right?
Yeah.
So I get about Brent's social game. I think is gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
This wild card competition.
So can I just
punishment from it?
Well, I guess it's kind of, if you really look at it, it's kind of a punishment for everybody else except for the person who won and the person they keep safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting twist though, because depending on how many people, it's one thing if you spin it and you get the 3 or the 2, like however many is left on your team that time, then, you're not throwing anyone under the bus. But in this particular case, like, if you only have to pick one, then you're almost showing kind of who you're kind of favoring on your team. So, it can be used as a strategic play as well. If you're trying to kind of take the heat off, say, you and somebody else who, is starting to get close and you don't want the others to know about it, then you pick someone who you're not close with, right? Kind of deflect away from it. So it can be used as a strategic advantage as well.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. I think that's a good idea for somebody to do. Like, I think at this point in the game, I don't know. I don't think that it did that for Christian. I don't think it was a bad thing for Christian, because I think that, who was it that he saved after?
Xavier.
And that was, what was his reason again? Because Frenchie had said he wasn't going to put up girls.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that not everybody knows that. And technically, he shouldn't know that.
I feel like the whole house knows that, though, because he literally told every single girl.
He did, but we only saw Sarah Beth and Alyssa who actually outed him as saying that they were both safe.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like everybody told.
That's what Jason said. He was just like, he said, it's only a matter of time, Crystal, before one of these girls spills the beans.
Like, you tell that many people though, like the same thing. Like, you tell one person something and it's getting out. You tell everybody in the house.
Yeah,
like
it's it's way too much. He really put the gas pedal down too far on this one.
Yeah, definitely. All the same, I just want to say that last week, I want to make a note that I was digging Christian's curls, and even so much to say his man bun, but the cornrows is where I draw the line. Not fucking having it.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? I kind of like the cornrows over the man bun. I liked
the cornrows, and I just need to say this.
Don't say it.
I'm saying it. We're gonna have to dig it up for our Instagram. There is definitely a picture in existence of Crystal's husband with the same cornrows in his hair.
Oh, wow.
When she was in hairdressing school.
And I put in there.
Wow. Okay.
So.
And my question is, can you still do it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Deck beers and cornrows.
Oh my God, sounds good. Best afternoon though.
Right.
Let's do that. We're inviting ourselves over to your hot tub, Tina.
Sounds good. Sit on the deck, put a few cornrows in.
Right. Good times.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, I just keep going and talking about how terrible Frenchie was. Like, all of my notes are just about how ridiculous he was being. I did say I kind of I felt bad until he went all crazy, because I said this HOH is hard, because it's like one thing, like you've got the HOH, then Big Brother puts you on the spot to do that like dice game again. And then, they throw in this wild card game where another person is going to be safe. So you can't pick anybody from your own team. Now you can't pick this one person who wins on the game. And then that one person can also save 1 to 3 other people. So like the people that he's allowed to pick to put up for eviction is just getting picked off as he goes. Right. So not the easiest HOH to have.
No. And, what people need to remember too is yes, he did go too hard, too fast, right off the hop. But, at the very beginning of the game, when you're first entering the house, you're trying to navigate who to trust, who not to trust. You're trying to, it's an information overload right at the very beginning. So it's kind of almost understandable after being in the house to see how that actually kind of can happen, is because there's just so much to kind of digest and process, and your own emotion, and there's just so much on top of him right now that I can understand why it's happening the way it's happening, right? But again, you sign up for the game, so it's like you kind of do have to try and keep those emotions in check as well, right? But it's almost like a little bit of a power trip, to some degree as well.
That's what it seems like.
Like it didn't seem like he was really unraveling as such. It was more like he was
too many promises.
Yeah.
He's just
he
trying to
made
be
too many.
everybody's best friend right off the hop.
Yeah. And you just can't do that right away, I don't think. Like, you can talk to everybody, which is probably a good idea. But then on the other side of things, I'm like, also, he started kind of like just like walking around and like watching, and it's fine if it's not super obvious, but it's another thing if everybody knows that you're doing it, because you're weirding them out, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that scene where he was leaning up against the door, right? And you know, Tiffany had spotted him with the shadows, right? And it's like, it's just kind of got to be careful of that stuff right off the hop, right?
Yeah, or at least like if you're going to stand there and then somebody comes out the door, like go into the room and pretend like you're coming in anyway. You know what I mean? Don't just be like, oh yeah, no, I wasn't really coming in here, so I was just checking.
I was just listening. Back out. I was just eavesdropping. Sorry, I'll go away. Like, I think too, like I think that getting the first HOH is such a huge advantage. So I know that this is like something that people always debate, because some people are like, no, you definitely don't want it, too much blood too fast. I personally would want to get the first HOH because I think that right off the start, it gives you a guarantee that you're going to stay the extra week. You become the number one person in the house that other people are going to go to for information or to feed information to. And I feel like it can help you with those social situations so that you have enough time to get to know everybody before people decide who they're voting out. Like, I think it's a huge advantage. And I feel like this was his week to sit back. He won. This was his week to let the people come and feed him the information. He didn't need to tell one single person that they were safe. And he told half the house that, you know,
everything you're saying is true, but it's also a curse in a sense too, because it's a curse because right off the hop, that's what you want, is all that information. You want people coming in and out your door, giving you all that information. And unless you can keep your mouth shut and absorb it all, if you're spewing it all out, then everybody's in that I'm going to talk to everybody mode right at the very beginning of the game. So there's no, like you say, there's really no keeping major secrets right at the very beginning of the game, because you're really navigating to try and figure out who you can trust.
Right.
So it's a curse as well, right? So depends on how you look at it.
It was a rough one.
I know, it was wild to watch.
That's why I wore this shirt today. Because it was like, oh my God.
Oh, and I felt like that the whole game. I was like, oh, what is happening? Like,
I had really high aspirations for Frenchie. I really did.
Yeah. My mind has totally changed on him. Well, because okay, so then let's move forward. So, you know, he's got the HOH, he's talking to everybody, he gave everybody safety almost. And then he gets to nominations and he had the stupidest speech about how he wanted to catch big fish. I don't think anybody understood. Christian knew, because he was like, okay, well, he put up Alyssa. And Alyssa and Christian, I guess they've got like a budding showman's about to happen or some kind of a friendship going on. So Frenchie targeted Alyssa thinking that she was lying to him. Like, what was that scene where she came and sat down and he was like, do you have an alliance with anybody? And he asked her in front of like,
it was awkward as fuck.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, what do you think? I mean, people aren't gonna friggin' tell you who they're aligned with. I mean, what kind of...
Not even in private. Like,
it just felt like he was calling her out, and it was just really weird and awkward,
uncomfortable. Like it felt aggressive almost. Like it was an aggressive. I kind of feel like Frenchie's a meathead, honestly. Like, you know, he's like all these big muscle guys. I think he's an insecure meathead. I think he's mad because he doesn't have the big muscles that the other guys have, and he's insecure about it. But he's got the meathead personality and doesn't realize it.
I'll be honest with you.
I've been in the house. I've been in that situation. I'm not judging any particular person in terms of what they're going through in that house right now. But you know, something's got to be said for sometimes keeping your mouth zipper tight.
Remember when we used to say about how much of a meathead Tina is?
Oh yeah. I mean, don't go back and watch. No, we never said that.
Yeah, okay. So you know what I'm going to do later? I'm going to go back and watch all your podcasts.
My name. Where's my name?
Which is really the actual fun part.
May determine if I join the next one.
We're actually doing it to try to get you to listen.
Exactly. That's all it is. She'll listen through every episode and it'll be like, I never even heard anything bad about me. And we're like,
Our view count went up by 1. Oh, shocking. Okay. But yeah, so like that's what I did. I found like this is his week to sit and absorb, and he talked a lot. And then he nominated Kyland, and he flat out said when he nominated him that I'm doing it because I think that I should keep close people in to win the veto. Like he fully said, Alyssa, I'm putting you up to essentially, I guess, fish for Christian. Fucking no.
Which I still haven't figured out how that's going to work, because if he's safe this week. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah,
but...
and that really didn't make sense because, like he's safe. So who else is he going to target?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
It was like a jab. I think it was like, oh, well, I can't nominate you, so I'm going to nominate like your friend to piss you off when I'm not going to be safe next week. Like it just boggled me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't give Alyssa an explanation.
No, it was just, it is what it is.
And we're back. We had to pause for a minute, but you don't know that because nothing happened on your end, listeners. So on our end, I believe we're talking about Frenchie's speech, and that he didn't give Alyssa an explanation for nominating her. He just said he wanted to catch a fish, or whatever way he put it, and then that's it.
He had a dream.
Meeting adjourned. Yeah, he had a dream.
Right.
Like, you're just making this shit up, Frenchie. Come on.
Yeah. He had a dream I was fishing. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he was dreaming about fishing, and he can't catch a fish without bait. So
It made no sense. Like,
right?
No. Hey, English was my thing back in school. Okay, there's nothing to read in between his lines. It meant fucking nothing. Nothing.
I just thought it was funny. Like, I feel like putting up Kylan was kind of like, I felt really bad because I thought he's so sweet. I'm just like, the poor guy was just like, what's happening
really
here?
like Colin.
Yeah,
Right?
I did too.
Yeah, I really do. I really like him.
Yeah, he's super personable.
I think he'll do well.
But I found it funny because there was one point earlier in the episode too that, like, Frenchie, I guess it showed that right after the kickoff competition, he actually promised Christian, Xavier, and Travis all safety.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Like,
I think that
he's essentially, kind of, in one of, I guess, a situation in the BBCAN house. I think it might have been Vic, who was, I don't know if it was her invisible, but essentially, or no, not her invisible. It was not the drop the bucket challenge, but the second one that she had won. She essentially promised safety to just about everyone. Wow. At that particular time, right? So it's kind of like the same type of scenario where, okay, well, you kind of can't do that.
Yeah. Right. At some point, somebody has to be a target. Like, you can't promise safety to everybody because you're eventually going to say it to the wrong person, and then you got to put them up. Yeah. And like in this case, he told Alyssa, just like he told all of the rest of the girls. Now, you try and tell me that any one of those girls is going to trust him from now on.
No, well, that's the thing. I mean, the bridge is burnt now, and then
Done.
Anyone who doesn't go home now on his HOH is going to have a vendetta to get him out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, he's going to have at least half the house gunning for him.
Yeah. Right. Like, the big thing about the HOH that people hate when they win the first one is that they don't want to get too much blood on their hands. He got blood of, like you said, half the house on his hands because, like, all he had to do, okay, you can't target Christian. That sucks. That was your target. But all you had to do was not nominate a woman because you ran your mouth early. You said you weren't going to nominate any women. And then you nominated a woman. Like, that's, you instantly get every single woman in the house turned against you. And everybody, they're all going to tell the guys, oh, he said that he wasn't going to nominate a woman. So now none of the guys are going to trust you. Like, I think he pissed off 90% of the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
trust was broken. He'll be gone.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens Wednesday and Thursday in terms of how this week actually finishes out for him. Like, I don't know.
I'm interested. I'm like, I want to fast forward to next Thursday and see if he's sitting on the block because if he, like, honestly, it's like, okay, it's the first week. He could possibly do an amazing job at damage control. We still haven't seen a lot of, like, his relationship stuff. Like, we've seen him being paranoid and everything. He could catch himself. He could turn it around. He could do a lot of damage control and go far, but it's going to take a lot of work.
And it does take some time to adjust into that house. It really does. So, maybe it's unfortunate for him, but maybe this is his adjustment period. And, he is going to have to do a lot of backtracking, I think, in order to kind of save his game moving forward.
Yeah.
But, it can be done. If you come up with the right storylines and the right, white lies as to why you justify what you did, then, if you get the right people believing it, then, your game is saved. So
well, I mean,
it can happen.
It reminds me a bit of BBCAN 7. Was it Kara? And they were really emotional, like at the very beginning, and then ended up going up on the block. Yeah. And now, I mean, they ended up being a target for the entire season, but made it very, very far, right? But absolutely, that's kind of like, I remember they just kept saying, like, I'm not emotional. I didn't expect it to hit me like this. Like, the house is different than I thought.
It really is, and I never understood it before going into the house, and now I do. So
I don't think you possibly can. I mean, all we can do is kind of see how things unfold from the outside and kind of like think about how you might react to it. But honestly, I don't think there's any way to even prepare for it. I just don't.
No, and I hope for his game, because I think he was one of the kind of super fans of the show. Mm-hmm. I hope for his game he can kind of backtrack and kind of dig himself out of what's been done, and save some bridges for himself moving forward. But I don't know.
I also feel kind of bad.
Too much.
Yeah, too much too fast. But I feel kind of bad because being a super fan, I think he really wanted to go in and make these big moves. It's why he said he wanted to target big, strong guys. And I thought that wasn't the worst strategy in the world. But I feel bad because he went in and he had a flop. He was like, I'm going to have such a big HOH. I'm going to target these strong people. And then he targeted two people that they weren't really on anybody's radar. And I know it's the first week. There's not really anybody on anybody's radar, but it was like the biggest.
Perhaps he didn't realize how easily he could be swayed, or how easily his mind could be, you walk in and your mind is set on doing one particular thing, and, maybe wanting to make for that good TV, the fans watching would want to see something like this. Mm. But yeah, things change very quickly in that house.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see this roll out. So far, so good for this season.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely started off with a bang, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see how it rolls out. So Wednesday night is the veto.
Yeah.
Veto, and then we got the eviction then Thursday.
And then eviction Thursday. Okay. All right. So we will be back, and we didn't do it at the beginning of the show again. If you're still listening, please follow, download, subscribe, etc., and all the internet terms. But we will be back again. So I think we've decided that we're going to air, I guess, the day after. So if there's an episode on Sunday, we'll most likely be available on Monday. Wednesday, you'll hear us on Thursday, and then we'll discuss Thursday's episode. You'll hear that probably Friday. Fridays, we're going to have double episodes moving forward because we'll have our regular lifestyle pod and our Big Brother content. So
lucky listeners.
My God, you guys are getting a treat. 4 days a week. Woo! And yeah, we're going to keep having some special guests back, special regulars and special strangers.
Right. So do we have any predictions? Like, do we think that, I mean, we don't know.
Other than Frenchie being in trouble, I don't know.
I'm going to say, I kind of think Kyland will win veto.
Yeah.
I don't
think he will.
I don't know. It's too early. I don't know. I'm gonna write it down. Kyland for veto.
Do we even know who's playing? We don't know who's playing or anything yet, do we?
No, we don't.
Yeah, we're just picking it out of the air at this point.
Oh wow.
Let's just put it this way. Do we think either one of the nominees will take themselves off?
Well, you clearly don't.
Nope.
Well, I already know a spoiler because I happened upon it earlier. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that one and let you guys guess at it.
All right, okay.
I know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna feel like such an asshole if I'm wrong now.
Who do you think? We'll get her to tell us after we finish recording.
Yeah, I don't
know. I was on a Facebook group. I went and looked for the Big Brother fan groups, and I did like a couple. And then as I'm scrolling through, I realized that they're spoiler sites. And I was like, I gotta get off because I won't have a genuine reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I tried to stay away from it as well, but it just happened upon me today. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
What I've learned is to stay off the Twitter.
Oh yeah. I don't Twitter much. I don't tweet a lot.
Well, you know what my feelings about Twitter is, but anyway.
Is this going back to like the beginning of when we first met?
This is going back to when I was a hairstylist, and quite frankly, sidebar, everybody listening, when I was a hairstylist, and I also used to do aesthetics work. And one of the ladies that I worked with used to do bikini waxings, and she used to say she was waxing her Twitter. So now I'm like, well, I can't get on board with this because it's a vagina.
I remember that because when Twitter was first invented, because yes, people listening, we are old enough to be around for it's what, like 10 years old or something. Anyway, when Twitter was first Twitter, that's all I was like, they named something Twitter because I knew it from you for calling it a vagina on Twitter. So
you're welcome.
Yes, thank you for that story. Now I will never look at Twitter the same way again.
I'm glad.
Okay, and on that note, everybody tune in to Big Brother Wednesday night, and then tune into our podcast on Thursday to hear our
go check out your Twitter.
Don't check out your Twitter. Oh my God. Okay.
Goodbye.